Hello, everyone. Welcome to this nasty match for this week. We have Dynasty Party going against fricken esports, and looking at these two comps, I think we're going to see a lot of variety. Uh, Huge damage start, hot shot on both sides, and spark of strength means that there's more cooldown reduction, more damage, more core speed. Yoshi, I'm ready for these crazy overtime points.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm looking forward to this match because I'm looking at freaking esports locking in a humble Zentaro, and that guy's playing into Vice. Right now, though, the Vice is absolutely getting annihilated, which, I suppose makes sense when you have the Zen and Estelle comboed together, but I think this game could really, go to either team because they both have this insane damage potential, and it comes down to whether Cero and Turbo can combo their damage together on someone, or if Jack Limestone can just completely 1v9 wipe some health bars away.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. You see the ult expended from Jack Limestone right away, but Zero's getting pummeled here in the quarter, and I just feel like whoever's going to capitalize on the corner offense damage is just going to be at advantage here, because you see Zero is just afraid to walk up against that log right away, but they got to be worried about the net, as another crazy score from a Vice primary just gets the core in the right spot and gets another point over to Dynasty Party.
Yeah, I think a big thing in this game is also asiainator has locked in Dubu, who is a phenomenal character in the corner. This is such a corner-focused map, and Andy, obviously incredibly well-known for all these ranged picks, is playing Juno. I wouldn't wish Juno goalie on this map on my worst enemy, but I respect the pick, and obviously it has a lot of offensive potential. That's why it gets picked. That's why he plays it. And, look, getting in there right now has a lot of opportunities to make plays happen, try and chip through this Dubu and the defense. But playing defense themselves is going to be pretty difficult, especially when both their teammates are down. Uh-oh.
Yeah, double KO, but they passed it to the short corner, which means Andy was able to get the clear right away. It has the flip up as well, but Cero gets it to the other side, and our offense is now restarted, and both members are back up for frickin' esports, and they get the second barrier here. Potential out here, unfortunately loses the barrier, however, and we're getting to overtime, and that course speed's gonna be a factor right away. asiainator trying to spend the ult in order to buy some time, but Cero and Turbo with the checkmate onto the Dubu causes them to score and get a point back in this set.
Yeah, a great primary from Cero to just... asiainator was evaded, but unable to really react in time. Probably, check, not a hotshot difference, but a 124 power Zen difference. Core just going a little bit too fast and sealing out any opportunity of saving that. And really, that's obviously what freaking esports needs to get back in there. 1 point on the board, 2 more could be on the horizon, but a lot of damage coming in on Turbo. And again, this Dubu is just, they were able to get through that last point, but it just seems so difficult to consistently make it through the Dubu, especially in the corner. But power play on the board, this could be their chance.
Yeah, Swaghaver stepped a little bit too close to the edge on that one, but Cero takes a full ult, and unfortunately they lose the core through the barriers, but 2 flips available for frickin' esports. They use one right away. Cero takes a lot of damage on the back end on almost blinking health bars as Swaghaver tries to get the goal, but the core's just getting hit back and forth, flip expended just for defensive purposes, but all it really results in is Cero just getting damaged a lot throughout the point. Now Turbo spending the Estelle primary in order to try to get some distance going, but asiainator gets the flip, so that way it's not scary initially. We'll have to see how this point goes. Swaghaver trying to set up a checkmate, ends up doing so with just the strike. Unfortunately, Turbo wasn't back far enough to help the defense, and Dynasty Party takes the first set.
Yeah, a great shot from Swaghaver off the dime coming from Jack Limestone, and there he is getting rewarded with heavy impact. What a great, a wonderful day to be a Vice player right here. Just bam, draft 1, heavy impact. A lot of other strong awakenings, though. Obviously, again, both these teams have a big damage potential. The 1-2 punch going to be denied from the Juno, not letting that through. Instead, picking up a dash awakening. Always great to have on the Juno goalie. Makes the offensive potential just that much more significant. We're seeing a little bit of size come onto Swaghaver, some CDR. for Turbo here, and an adrenaline rush, which could be incredibly impactful for Cero. No sparks seen on the draft on this spark start, so no scaling coming in for Cero or Swaghaver on that end, but still, I definitely think this heavy impact is going to warp the game in the favor of Dynasty Party.
Yeah,
but freaking esports definitely.
Yeah,
sorry, got a lot.
A strong start, and you can see right away, you know, Dynasty Party capitalizing on that corner offense. Yeah, a lot of damage and a lot of cooldown reduction that last set, which means more abilities coming out, more people are getting hit, and the core is getting hit in the corner, and there's a lot more solvable corner offenses, especially against this Juno, right? I think she's going to lose a lot in the interactions if they can end up getting the checkmates, and that might just because Cero and Turbo die, but they're trading one barrier each right now, and Swaghaver's trying to get this corner offense started with the Thunderstruck from Jack Limestone, but doing the short side portal is able to be cleared right away, and now a sequence that won by frickin' esports means that this double barrier is now down, and Andy will have to expend the flip in order to get some offense going, but it's really scary for asiainator to expense the ult right away just to buy some time again, and Andy is just able to get these clears, and it just looks like the offense is gonna keep on going for frickin' esports.
Yeah, freaking esports definitely have all the momentum at this point, but a good strike warp from Jack Limestone going to be shutting out that. And there's no one back there. A full frontal offense has come out, and unfortunately, the core slips by. The defense is not quite there, and Swaghaver is going to be tapping that one in, 1 point away from securing a second set for Dynasty Party, and a flip on Swaghaver. A lot of damage onto Turbo immediately, and really, things are looking a little scary for freaking esports.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the second or third point that there's just a rogue primary or rogue strike that happens to be in perfect position. Swaghaver almost clearing out the whole board here and getting the second set win. But right away, you can see Cero damaged right now, and it feels like Dynasty Party is running away with this one a little much. But Swaghaver, with no evade, has to be careful of this kill coming out from Cero. Unfortunately, nothing is seen yet from this KO. Looking at all the abilities coming out, asiainator tries to expend the flip to just get it out in the corner and just not have Swaghaver in the middle of nowhere. But with Cero on blinking health bars, that core is rolling to the other side, and Swaghaver's right there but can't quite get the angle. Now uses the Death Touch in order to try and get the core, hit Cero instead. And the core is just moving back and forth through both portals, but nothing's really found by the brawlers, as Cero, now on the blinking health bars as well, tries to use the ult in order to gain some life and has the energy, but a nice piercing shot from Turbo means that they're trying to come back in this set as well.
Yeah, just a wonderful bread and butter coming out from Turbo. Hit the dribble, piercing shot onto the goalie and the core. A wonderful thing, just get it done, especially on this hotshot start. Like, it really allows you to hit much wider ranges, but Swaghaver, a little upset at getting scored on, just not having any of that, takes both barriers in an instant. And we've been seeing a lot of that. And obviously, again, Juno goalie on the side of freaking esports. It's to be expected. But a slow roller coming from Jack Limestone on the portal pass is going to be sending that in and putting Dynasty Party up to 2 sets here.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this core was really going to be fast, but it seems like it's just slowly rolling in every time, even though they have the hotshot power start. A lot of awakenings here, though. Specialized training, missile propulsion, extra range with a surge, if possible. So just take missile prop away, and seeing a lot of important awakenings here, some survivability and some speed. I think the team player is going to be really important, Zyoshi. What do you think?
Oh, I absolutely agree. Team player is the #1 goalie awakening. Unless you have just like your character's best awakening, bar none, in the box, you should be taking team player. And even then, it's still like I don't know, maybe team player is still better here kind of situation. But here with hotshot and team player, Andy just has so much core speed now coming from the box, able to enable some offense and honestly just some quick clears. More core speed means that he'll be able to get it out of the corner way faster. No corner involved, though, on the double barrier, though, is Swaghaver going to be tapping that, able to pick up the big fish, which enables both his Might of Colossus and, obviously, all of his abilities. because a little bit of extra power, a little bit of extra size, it's going to go a long way, as that's a big KO coming out. And here, just a ton of offense being generated for Dynasty Party. They have the ball, trying to get it out right now. Not quite how they expected the power play to go. And I think this has been a recurring trend, is fricken esports will lose their barriers pretty quickly. Juno goalie, you know, that's how the world works. But oh my god, it's a crazy hook.
Yeah, I can't even believe it. I mean, that's the third point or fourth point. It's just slowly rolled in there. Just keeps punishing the positioning of the Juno. I just at a loss for words, but that's just how these points keep going. An excellent ult, though, means that blinking health bars, 1 kill right away for Jack Limestone, and Slime KO'd Jack Limestone as well. And what a crazy sequence, but Dubu up and able to use the creations in order to get some power play offense going. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the second barrier, and everyone's respawned off of this crazy start, Yoshi.
Yeah, everyone's back. Sarah's looking a little low. The barriers are down. Swaghaver is in there scrapping. And a third point, it won't roll in. I think the Dynasty Party offense on the barriers has been great. I think that they've been struggling a little bit on the open net, which makes sense. The ranged goalie has doesn't have to try and shove it through a corner on the open net. But there we saw a great primary coming out from Swaghaver, bringing us to match point. Has a flip. That's really scary. They only need to win 1 more point, seal the deal. And here, fricken esports is going to be needing a little bit of a miracle, and Cero getting taken to half health is not quite that.
Well, if history repeats itself, they will win the point here, and they get the first barrier right away, but Swaghaver walking up with every single tool available doesn't actually get a barrier right away, just tries to use the strikes to get it in with Jack Limestone. Gets 1 barrier as well with the flip with asiainator, doesn't quite get the second one. Zero, not with the Zentaro ult, just trying to get more damage, more availability, but unfortunately gets KO'd in the end no matter what. And almost KO'd by Andy, but ends up getting the barrier with the flip instead. And they get the clear out, which means that they potentially can save the barrier, and they do it yet again. The jump from Andy, not quite getting there. Turbo gets it to the bottom side, and Cero finishes with an excellent rush. And they won the point, Yosh.
Yeah, it's exactly as you said. You know, fricken esports will not get 3-0'd in any of these sets. Going to be putting at least 1 point on the board. 2 more, and suddenly we have a game on our hands. But there, that last point, Cero just getting some awesome Super Surge value. A wonderful Zentaro Awakening. never feels bad to take that, one of your best. But here, we're just looking at a whole lot of nothing. A lot of damage being stacked up, a little bit of corner play. Andy jumping in to save that barrier right there. And we're just kind of taking it slow, and I feel like that's how fricken esports does not want to play. Because the longer the point lasts, the easier it'll be to take the barriers later on, get damage stacked on. They really want to blow someone up, but speaking of blown up, Turbo has been shot dead in the streets. Swaghaver will be putting it in his absence.
Yep, gets banished off the map as a result, and unfortunately, Dynasty Party does get the win as a result. I just feel like this match could have been very explosive at any point, and it just didn't quite get there because of a few mistakes that fricken esports have made. And I'm excited for the second match because on a different start, on a different map, this was the map picked by Dynasty Party. It might be a little bit more even, and we might get to a set 5 as a result, but really excited for this next matchup.
Yeah, me as well. I think with some different team comps too, we could see a different story. I think in this game, it was just Rasmus, one of the best brawlers right now, really eats ranged picks alive. You show up, you can like strike secondary, even add another strike at the end to just beat them close range. You have hook to catch out clears in primary to beat them at a longer range. Like, what doesn't this guy do? Just made Andy's life a living hell, and it's really difficult. But I think it's just not a map for range picks. You can make it work. We've seen Vyson historically do pretty well, but a different map, a little bit more favorable for how freaking esports wants to play. Completely different game. But with that, I guess we'll see you. We'll see you there, game 2.
All right.
Bang.
Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to freaking esports versus Dynasty Party, and everyone buckle up for an insane game, a bit of a wacky game. We've got Drakkar and Kazan goalie on the side of Dynasty Party going up here. We were watching the draft, sitting back and like, okay, we don't really know what's going on, and we're feeling it out. Dynasty Party picked a Juno, normal, and against freaking Chris, you know, Mr. Esports himself. It makes sense that they would be denying the Juno, not letting that through. We see Finny go through. It's like, okay, that's an asiainator pick. But obviously, on the other team, the Finny has also been gone through by the swag haver Drakkar, which we saw get locked in next. Like, it was Drakkar, Kazan, Drakkar, and then Kazan. And those aren't characters that you lock back-to-back ever. In 0 situations. No such cases. But here we are. We're sitting. It's like, is that a Drakkar goalie, Kazan brawler? My jaw is on the floor. My gob is smacked and my flabber is gasted. Cardsmith, how are you feeling this game?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, it makes sense. Especially red side draft, I think, is particularly stronger this game as they get the goal as well with the KO. They're just going to have a lot of damage scaling in the late game, and with the Finny and Estelle, they should more than enough have the constant control and range in order to deal with everything in the battlefield. The swag haver, Drakkar, asiainator, Kazan, that'll be interesting to see how that works. I worry about the Kazan maybe like throwing out a primary and then Estelle like just checkmates them. Cero getting the big size right here and trying to get the double barrier, but has to expend the flip, and it's a little bit worse for Wear as they're popped off the map by Swaghaver with the Palmers, and the Palmer's speed means that they're going to win the strike with Andy and get the goal as a result.
Yeah, that is the way we've seen Drakkar throughout the ages take on a variety of roles. In beta, he was a disgusting monster, disgusting freakish monster that made everyone sad unless you were playing him. And after launch, we saw the rise of Drakkar control and Drek midfield. We've seen the fall of Drakkar just now, and across the ages, character that hasn't been super popular recently. We saw him play goalie a few times to varying levels of success. Here, right now, it seems like the best way to play Drakkar is to show up, put the pummelers on, and just start mowing people down. Especially, you're the brawler. Not a whole lot that you're doing, but here we're seeing a bit of a struggle on the defense for Dynasty Party as freaking Chris able to put it in right there, taking us to a 0.5. And this is a very different game from the last game. This one is, we're going down to the wire. We're seeing a lot happen. We're seeing Andy on the Finny, which, some people have been saying Finny right now, best goalie in the game. I'm sort of inclined to agree. I mean, look at him. He gets to do whatever he wants. And unfortunately, his brawler having a little bit more of a struggle against everything going on. But really, I like the Finny a lot, and I like what freaking esports is putting up this game.
Yeah, it looks much better than game 1. Might be the map as well, as the corner offense started with the side streets, and unfortunately Jack Limestone can't quite get it going together with Swaghaver. Swaghaver trying to spare their life because they're getting really low and trying to punish freaking Chris on the edge. But they just keep taking damage. The Finny card out. Freaking Chris now staggered and gets the orb. But Cero gonna finish the kill. Actually, not finish the kill. They just lost the Drakkar because he stealthed. I heard the ability, and they thought he went into the side streets, but he just went to the left and saved himself as a result. And Swaghaver trying to get the second barrier, but it's just overtime and just passing the core back and forth as finally the Palmer speed and the Drakkar secondary will allow them to get the goal as a result. But this is a really exciting game. It was a huge damage start, and we already got to a 0.5 there. I'm excited to see what this draft gives.
Yeah, and as with any damage start, every draft is going to be incredibly important. But here, team player Kazan goalie is hitting the rift, and that's especially, we've got the pauldrons, we've got the 3 prizefighter stacks that asiainator was able to build up that set. going to have to start from 1 again, but with these KOs coming out, that is going to put that guy over 180 power, which means that he can red core, you know, I believe outside of overtime without anything else. Just that's enough power. And with the team player, we're going to be seeing this guy hit the ball pretty quickly. Fricken Chris picking up an adrenaline rush as well. Also incredibly relevant, you know, on the prize fighter start. Could just swing entire points, and the more KOs come out, the more frequently Fricken Chris can build these up. And right now, Fricken Esports is just blowing through Swaghaver's health bar, through these barriers. Sarah's looking a little low. Could be at risk of losing the prize fighter stack, but really, this is a phenomenal point for Fricken Esports right now.
Yeah, and you know, Swaghaver picking up the recovery drone means that they have that survivability, or they might go for a kill that they weren't able to get before. But why go for kills when you can just score the core on the enemy team? Fricken Esports getting the first one of this point and looking to bounce back from that first set.
Yeah, a close set. Really, if I were playing for Fricken Esports right now, I'd be kind of bummed out after that one. So entering set 2, you gotta sit there and say, okay, we almost got it. You know, feeling good about that. We got to bring it back, but that is a hard one to bring it back from. Both barriers gone and the core going through. A little bit of used energy burst coming out from Dynasty Party. Bit raw there, but you know, again, Fricken Esports still looking at, we're still there. You know, I'm sitting here, just burned that recovery drone on Swaghaver. Feeling pretty nice. They're definitely not out of it yet, although an unfortunate point to go in there for sure.
Yeah, and you saw that last point. They were trying to focus down the midfielder, but with the recovery drone now, I'm interested to see if that direction changes, as the health bars are starting to go down for freaking Chris and Sarah, and they have to be careful of getting KO'd. Luckily, they both got orbs right now, as Juno comes out with the slimes. Flip coming out from Swaghaver, gets the barrier. Now they're going to try to confirm the goal right here. A rogue slime to the bottom, and all the blobbles are coming out, but nothing's really getting scored. Andy trying to clear up. Unfortunately, Fricken Chris couldn't quite get there with the strike, and Swaghaver just strikes it on in.
Yeah, covering the out, able to catch it right there. Very well played, and we haven't seen, I believe, a single KO. All the prize fighter stacks still at 1. If there have been any that I've missed, we've just been, you know, they were traded back. We're watching a completely different game from set 1. Everyone's sitting here really playing it slow. See both barriers go down for Dynasty Party though. Bit of a tough situation, and this is where Fricken Esports wants to be. Is that they, again, look at Andy. He's crossed the midline. He is getting in there. This guy wants to just contribute to offense as much as possible. Fricken Chris is now low. Getting KO'd, that's going to be a prize fighter stack for the fellows. Going to be a little scary there, and now has to play defense. This is the opposite of what they want, really. Do not want to be on defense for too long. We saw a little bit of team player farming from Dynasty Party there, but not quite set up, as the barriers have gone down. Nets are open. Things are looking a little precarious for both sides. Sarah really close to a flip though. Jack Limestone using his, not quite getting it. Sarah now has the flip, has to stay alive long enough to use it, but this could be it, as the ball goes in, just barely slipping past asiainator, who I believe might be able to save it if he was in closed form, but in the open form, not quite able to catch it. And that's going to take us to a 0.5 on the bounce castle.
Yeah, maybe with that closed form, hitting it up, could have gotten the scoring angle here, but Annie's got to be careful. Lost the barriers right away, and the core's still on their side. Couldn't quite get the clear, finally gets it there. But you have to feel like the team player is very relevant here, as the flip called out by Jack Limestone, and Swaghaver gets the strike and gets the set yet again. And another 3-2 set, but it just goes in the way of Dynasty Party here.
Yeah, Dynasty Party has been exceptional at sealing out these points. You know, they get the barriers, and then they're able to get through. Swaghaver now debating between bulk up and 1-2 punch. Opting for the bulk up, denying some stagger from the enemy team, and he's going to be rocking out with a ton of power. I like the 1-2 punch a lot on Drakkar. It makes his combo incredibly reliable, that's all you pick this character for, is you show up, you try and combo someone, catch them off guard with pums. Opting for the bulk up though to get more power and give 1-2 punch to his Jack Limestone, who is going to appreciate that very much. Juno 1-2 punch lore, and now it's it's looking really rough, I think, for freaking esports, because the team player, all the power, and the 1-2 punch on Dynasty Party is so much core speed that's going to be so difficult, especially for Finny. Now, not a character. You can't just pop an expanse, you know, and say, okay, and we're good. You know, that core's not going in. You have to be so much more careful about all these fast cores. Did pick up Hotshot, and that's going to be very nice for, you know, all the reasons that you pick Hotshot, more CDR, more core speed, etc. But right now, big Swaghaver on the Rift is just going to be winning every strike war. Clear goes to Jack Limestone, who puts it in 1 point for Dynasty Party, 2 more to win the series.
Yeah, the size really mattering there for the Drakkar. Was able to just keep it out of the Finny ultimate for as long as possible. But Swaghaver getting the KO this set means that they have to be careful. I mean, they have a ton of power right now trying to get a core flip going for this score, but Sero gets it away from asiainator, gets the 1 barrier for now, but they lose the core. Andy has to move up now in order to cover, and unfortunately hits themselves against the middle, so they won't get the momentum boost. But the damage is now starting to come out, and all that power that Swaghaver has accumulated means Sero has to move back, otherwise they're going to get core flip like that and get another power play going. The pummelers are activated. Swaghaver with the strikes and the shotgun means that Dynasty Party now in full control and now on match point.
Yeah, I mean, 3 prize fighter stacks on Swaghaver, the pummeler is procced, and the lizard is moving a mile a minute, and it just has all the power to rip people apart, send that core flying. Things are looking tough. The strike shotgun going wide, not quite making it onto the barrier, but 1 barrier down. This 1 barrier and the net stand between the freaking esports and the series ending. You know, they have to lock it up, but there goes the barrier, and now things are looking incredibly scary. Sero, though, low health, but looking for an opportunity, has the ball, but just getting shut out by Jack Limestone and Swaghaver. Big flip from asiainator to send it in, and it just barely slips in, slotted into the bottom corner. Andy just barely not able to make it, and that's going to be Dynasty Party taking this in another 3-0 victory.
Yeah, I mean, the scaling, you know, it was a weird comp. We don't know how we got there, but we got there. And just all the power and core speed and damage just coming out from even the Juno. I mean, stepping on 2 slimes, that's some serious damage coming out. As we can see, not that many KOs, but when they got the KOs, they made it count. 7 goals, 1 assist from Swaghaver just meant that with the KOs and the pummelers, he could just always move up and be available for that goal. And even though I really like the comp of frickin' esports, they just had a couple too many mistakes there, and just as a result, couldn't live up to Dynasty Party.
Yeah, just really difficult. I like that Jack Limestone doing the most damage in the lobby. A bit of 1-2 punch Juno lore, a little bit of Juno lore in general. Just pushing it all out, enabling both his teammates to clock in 3 KOs. It just, I think that really weird comp. Very, very strange and bizarre, but sometimes a little bit of strangeness, a little bit of whimsy is what you need to win these games. Go a little off meta. Get wild with it, you know, and they were definitely rewarded here. Again, like you said, I really like freaking esports' comp, but just not quite able to seal it out, even though Andy was fighting for his life with the 126 redirects. Just difficult situation, but Dynasty Party will be taking it, and that's going to be the series. Good job, Dynasty Party. Anything left you want to say?
No, I think Dynasty Party, took care of business, got the dub, as is expected of, I think, a lot of people. And yeah, now we're going to fade away into the next nasty match.